These are the welds we'll make in this next series of demonstrations. Vertical fillet weld, vertical prepared butt weld, overhead fillet weld, and overhead prepared butt weld. As you would expect, control of the weld puddle size is more important when you are welding vertically and overhead. For that reason, we will use the short arc technique with its lower heat and smaller and easier to control puddle. Once you have established your welding conditions by setting your wire feed speed and power supply, tack weld the workpiece in position for a vertical fillet weld. Before you drop your helmet in place, position the torch. You will use a triangular torch motion to assure a smooth bead and good tie-in with the plate. Here is the triangular motion used to lay the root pass, starting at the bottom, welding upward. Make your cover pass over the root weld using a lazy, sweeping torch motion. Dwell momentarily at the end of each sweep to get good fusion with the base plate. Here are the root and cover pass beads. Notice the uniform weld ripples, an equal width of the weld along both plates. Vertical prepared butt welding is done with a welding technique similar to that for vertical fillet. Plates are normally prepared with a 75-degree included or combined angle and are tack welded to leave a gap of about 1/16 of an inch between the prepared edges. A side-to-side weaving torch motion is used for the root pass to bridge the gap. Welding upward provides a shelf to help support the weld puddle. Make the first fill pass using the same weaving motion. On this pass, heat tends to build up in the plate, and the torch must be moved at a faster rate to prevent the weld puddle from becoming too fluid. The second fill pass is made similarly to the first, except that the torch motion is flattened out to a straight zigzag. This is done to hold heat buildup to a minimum. The cap pass is made using the same motion, but with wider coverage. Halt the torch at the end of each sweep to assure good fusion with the plate edges. This is how your finished weld should look after a few practice sessions. For overhead fillet welding, position the work and make your tack welds to set up the work securely. Then clamp it in an overhead position high enough to work comfortably. Make the root weld pass from left to right using a pronounced backhand torch motion. This gives you good visibility and control of the weld puddle. Make the cover pass in the same manner, but again slightly wider than the root. Surface tension keeps the fluid metal from dropping out of the weld if you keep the weld puddle small at all times. Now, let's take a close look at the partially completed weld so you can see both the root and cover pass weld beads. Overhead prepared butt welds are made much the same as the vertical weld we made earlier. Tack your plates and clamp them in position. Position your torch for welding from right to left so that you will be able to see the weld puddle clearly and control it closely. For the root pass, use a slight back-stepping torch motion and bridge the gap completely. The first fill pass should be centered on the root bead. With the same back-stepping torch motion, make the second fill pass to the right of the first. This is known as split bead or split weave technique and is used to keep the crown of the fill passes as flat as possible to provide a sound base for the cap pass. Put your third fill pass into the left of the second pass. Make your cap pass full width using a zigzag motion. Dwell at the end of each sweep to assure good tie-in to the plate edge. Constant practice to perfect your torch handling technique will result in a nicely formed, sound weld such as this.